which is math formulas. And again, I'm not going to go over what each of these formulas are. I just want you to know that there are these math formulas. And this is a good example of where it's valuable to be doing review. Once you learn the math formulas, then you can sit in your car or you can go through, go anywhere you want and just stop and say, okay, I want to go review the math formulas in my head. And that's part of where repetition does start to help. But it's an easy repetition because all you're doing is looking at pictures or listening to stories in your head. And we're going to be doing stories next week, and you're going to love that. Okay? So first off, area of a circle. So I have an image, or I use a character or person for this. And the character or person I use is Ariel. Okay? So for area, I use Ariel. Ariel is the Little Mermaid. So I'm going to use area of a circle, and I'm going to use area or Ariel with a hula hoop. So in my head, I'm going to think Ariel with a hula hoop, and that's going to be area of a circle. Okay? So there's a Little Mermaid with a circle, Ariel with a hula hoop. Okay, this next one's probably the most complex one that we have, and it's a circumference of a circle. Okay? Circumference to me sounds kind of like circus and fence. Circumference. But you can use your own one. You just want to have one here. So I'm going to do circus and fence. And so I didn't get a great image, but imagine right now a circus, and all in the circus, it's nothing but fences. Or you have clowns juggling fences. Or there's a big fence on top of the circus. You just have to think circus and fence and get those together, okay? And then for circle, I just have it within a big circle. So imagine a big circle, and then inside of it there's like a big top, the big top that there would be for a circus, and there's just a bunch of fences around. Once you put that image in your head, then you have something to associate circumference of a circle. Now this is a good time for you to say, this is silly, Mr. O'Leary, this is taking too much effort. But just be aware that what you're going to train yourself to do is to very quickly turn anything into an image and very quickly store it. And the silliness of it is actually part of why it works, because your brain focuses or attaches itself to things that are unusual, not necessarily things that are usual. It's kind of funny because it's part usual, part unusual. We want something usual that we know what it looks like, but something unusual that is shocking or surprising to our brain. All right? So what's our memory object for circumference of a circle? It's a circus of fences inside a circle. All right, next one, area of a square. Same image, Ariel, but we put her inside of a square, and I did this as a picture frame. Okay, so imagine Ariel smiling inside of a picture frame. All right, got that? Then you can move on. Oops, you can move on. Next one is order of operations, and this basically in math tells you what do you do plus, minus, subtraction, division, etc. first. But we're not worrying about that right now. But I just want you to think of a doctor storming into a hospital room ordering an operation. Okay? So can you imagine a doctor in his full scrubs walking in and saying, I need an operation. He's ordering operations. All right? There's your doctor. Area of a triangle. I'm going to use my friend Ariel again and think of Ariel either on top of a pyramid. So just imagine the Little Mermaid sitting on top of a ginormous pyramid, or Ariel playing the triangle, the instrument, the triangle, which is just a little triangle that she hits with a stick. Okay? So there's a little image. It's not Ariel, but it's a little girl hitting a triangle, or you can envision Ariel on top of the pyramid. Okay, but you got to lock that in. Just stop for a second. It takes 5 seconds to stop and see it in your head, and that's what does the trick. Volume of a box. Okay, so volume of a box, I just want you to think of a box and it's making a lot of noise, like playing a lot of music, and it's really, really loud volume coming out of that box. Okay, so stop, think, and envision that box, like a cardboard box, and a bunch of music coming out of it. Okay, I didn't find a really good image for this, so I just did a box like this, but you have one in your head. I guarantee you that you know what a cardboard box looks like, and you can envision loud music coming out of it. Probably looks like these symbols or whatever, or people around it holding their ears and saying it's too loud or whatever. All right, the next thing is mean, and mean is actually how you find the average when you're averaging numbers, but mean is the word for it. So we're going to use an image. I want you to think of somebody really, really mean, like a witch or a bully or something like that, really, really mean, and just have them pointing at you, yelling at you, being really angry with you, okay? All right? You got that in your head? All right. Next thing is distance. This is the formula for figuring out distance. And I used one of two images. I thought of a telescope, right, that can be used to signify image or distance, or a runner running in the distance. So you can use either one. Think about that right now. Just picture either a telescope or a runner running in the distance, like a distance runner. All right. And then these two more is converting a mixed number into a fraction. Okay, so this is one where we take the words, and I use a word for converting, and I think about like a converting is sort of what a magician does. They convert one thing into another thing. So I'm doing, and this is, watch how easily I can do this. I'm explaining it to you, but watch how easily I do it. So converting a mixed number into a fraction, I want a magician. My mixed number, I'm going to think about like a mixing bowl, like a salad bowl, but that you use to mix things, or a blender. So I want a blender or a mixed bowl full of numbers. The magician is holding this bowl full of numbers, or a blender full of numbers. And then he's converting that into fractions. So he's going to make that disappear and turn it into fractions. And fractions isn't a great word. So what I use is pi, like the pie that you would eat. Because a lot of times when you're studying fractions, you're talking about like 1/2 or 1/3 or 1/4. And a lot of times people represent that as pi. So if you can, in your mind's eye, envision a magician taking a blender or a mixing bowl full of numbers and waving his magic wand over it and turning it into a pie, that is your image. Again, this is silly, Mr. O'Leary. This takes too much effort, Mr. O'Leary. But if you did what I just said, then you could in about 3 seconds come up with a memory object that you can use over and over again and associate all the formulas and all the information that you want and be able to study and review. Okay, so this is your talent. I don't have a great image for this one, but imagine this is the blender and he turns it into a pie. And then the last one we have is multiplying fractions. And again, multiplying means creating something bigger, usually. I guess sometimes in fractions it's not, but creating something bigger. Something multiplies, you get more of them. And then fractions, again, pies. So all I did here is I want you to envision a stack full of pies or a room full of pies, okay? And that's it. Okay, so a bunch of pies. Now at this point, you have memory objects for each of these things, okay? And you have in your manual a place where you can write down what you used for your memory object if you created your own one, or you can use the header that we used or what have you. All right, so that's that. And then you have some forums to help you complete your assignments. You also have the ability to complete your assignments online here. So you downloaded the guide, you completed the first lesson, you made up your own memory objects or used a suggested one, and then for each one, I just want you to take, for each category, I want you to take 10 seconds per fact to remember it. So close your eyes right now